So this one, Diecast Worldwide, wide.
Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Woo! Well,
Or
you
Timber's
need
making a funny
to
noise.
pound out a sandwich real quick.
Nope, I'm good. I just finished.
Everybody sounding all right on your end?
Yeah, how's my...
Me.
I turn on my Do Not Disturb, because, like I said, everyone is feeling the urge to disturb me today. So, but we are locked in now, so... Oh, what's this? What?
Oh, it's just the thing that David sent. That little Z looks sick, man.
I'm gonna
Nice.
give Maisto some props for.
There's some
they're
good
still
stuff
trying.
in there.
They
That
are.
T-type is really sweet too.
I have their T-type. So
You do?
anyway, we can save that for the show. Getting into
Yeah.
the good stuff. We're getting into the good stuff, and we haven't even hit the theme music yet. So, speaking of which,
You're watching Diecast Breakdown with Chuck Ellis, David Johns, and Mark McHotwheel. So sit back, strap in, and hang on. The breakdown starts now.
Hey there folks, Chuck here, and thank you once again for joining us on this episode of Diecast Breakdown. I am joined, as always, by my good friends and Diecast brothers, Mr. David Johns.
Hello.
And Mr. Mark McHotwheel.
What's up, Highway homies?
I love it. We're also on brand. All right, we're going to dive in today. I am really excited about this topic. Before we dive into that, gentlemen, let's talk about what you are excited about in the world of Hot Wheels today.
I noticed a few things coming out that a lot of you collectors will be interested in. How about a little something for everybody? I'm going to start in my wheelhouse with some pretty obscure Japanese automobile history here. We've got a Nissan Primera coming out from a brand called N64. And if you don't know this brand, it is one of the best diecast brands in 1/64 scale. They're a little pricey, but you get what you pay for. And it is some of the best stuff you'll ever see. Nissan Primera, didn't know a thing about it. It is a full-size luxury car. Look for that in February of this year. Greenlight is putting out a Model T hearse. How about that, guys?
I'm excited about that.
Not only do we get a Model T, not only do we get a hearse, but it is coming out as a barn find release. So that is going to be super cool. Yeah, that was a staff pick, and whoever picked that one, don't know their name offhand, but you picked a good one. Last one I got, guys, hopefully you guys will see it, and apologies to our listeners, because the picture on the screen is of some Maisto castings that are coming out. Maisto doing it again, getting better and better, giving us awesome castings in 1/64 scale. That's what I got, guys. I'm anxious to see what you guys are looking forward to as well.
I would like to add, of that list of Maistos, I am very excited about that 1962 Chevy Biscayne wagon that they have listed. Although I think that's an existing one. That may be one that they've been sitting on for a while. Their 65 Buick Riviera is a very nice casting. I've seen that one before, so it's nice to see that one make a comeback. I might have to pick up another one of those. But I am excited in personal show news because this bad boy arrived today, courtesy of our amazing patrons. This is our new on-the-road mixer. Believe it or not, this bad boy has everything to plug in the microphones, record, do the headphones out. It even has a little sound pad, so I can have a little wah-wah-wah whenever one of us makes a bad joke, which is going to be used a lot, I'm sure. But yeah, it comes with 4 little sound effects built in, and that is courtesy of the amazing patrons who have donated their hard-earned money to help us with this project. We are so grateful for them, and as we continue to get support, that's going to allow us to do more things. We're buying this in faith that we will be able to have an event someday where all of us will be together and recording, but in the meantime, I will be using it for a few mobile interviews that we will be doing coming up here shortly. Also, in hunting news, I was at my local antique shop today and found a couple of these older Johnny Lightning Monopoly sets. So it has the 2000 Chevy Tahoe and the 68 Ford Mustang. The beautiful thing about these, I really love these editions because they come with the little pewter Monopoly pieces, and those Monopoly pieces just happen to be 1/44th scale, which is in scale, which I have a few things in scale that one day I would like to do a diorama of, just because I like that you can do a really large space in a very small area with in scale. That is my second favorite scale behind 1/64. Those are the things that I am excited about today. On top of that, I did find a new person on eBay. They are DE-Sales, and they are selling some pretty cool little laser cut kits, and they have some unfinished ones. They have some pre-painted, pre-decaled ones. They've got them in several different scales, including 124 and 118. They've got some laser cut display racks and stuff, and they have a really cool dealership bundle that comes with figures from American Diorama. This is like a Miho exclusive thing. And it's a pretty cool, in-depth, like three-dimensional dealership. So check out DE-Sales on eBay. I'll leave the link in the description and the show notes. One more thing. Very excited about this. And I chalk this up to just putting it out in the universe. But in a previous episode, I was saying like my white whale casting was the Motormax 1978 Lincoln Continental. And those sons of guns over at Auto World are releasing a 1978 Lincoln Continental.
Sweet.
It's coming out.
Where'd you find this out?
They must be listening. They must be watching.
Yeah, I was very excited to discover that. I'm sure it was announced a while ago, but I was like, oh, hey, that's handy.
I'm excited about the new Zamac Datsun 510 that's coming out. Do I like it better than the last Zamac 510? No, I don't. But it's up there. We've got I'm trying to find a picture right now of one. I'll show you really quickly the old one so you guys can kind of know what we're talking about with the a lot of people don't know that this older one exists. They don't know about a 510 Zamac. I do like it a lot. It's basically silver and blue. The previous one had a little bit more pop, a little bit more flair to it. But I'm very excited about that. Then there's also a mini GT coming out of a GT3 Motul on the side of it. Big wing, black.
Cool.
I will definitely pick that up. It's a very cool one that's coming out. So those are the only really things that I'm looking forward to at the moment with things that are coming out this year.
Did you see the Japanese classic multi-pack that Hot Wheels is doing?
I don't know what's in it. What
It's a 6-pack. It's got the 88 CRX, you got the 96 RX-7.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I might pick that up as well.
We're going to take a quick break here. We're going to talk amongst ourselves, so you do the same. And when we come back after these messages, we are going to get in on Mr. David Johns' topic of today. So don't go anywhere. Stick around.
We'll be back with more Diecast Breakdown after this word from our sponsors. Here's this week's small channel shout-out.
Bev and Bruce Garage.
If you have a favorite Diecast channel with less than 700 subscribers and you'd like to see them highlighted on a future episode, email us at diecastbreakdown@gmail.com. We'd like to take a moment to thank our executive producer level patrons, First and 64th Customs, Video Geek Productions, Matchbox Mark, Jonathan Von Nesch, and Donald Rashik. Please stick around till the end of the episode for our full list of partners and learn how you can support this project at diecastmedianetwork.com. And now back to Diecast Breakdown.
All right, well, we are back, and we are talking about the global community of Hot Wheels today. And of all of us, Mr. David Johns is certainly the one that has reached far and wide in this community. So that's the topic that was on his heart today. So we're going to let Mr. Twice Diecast take it away.
Thank you, Chuck. And I like how you put that, actually. It's always on my heart. If you guys watch my channel, and I hope you do, I've got a passion for getting diecast from around the world and getting into the hands of everyone around the world. And that's my mission statement for the channel. So what I wanted to talk about today is, as you guys have figured out by now, we get to rotate amongst the hosts and we pick out a topic that's near and dear to our heart. And making sure that you guys are aware of how big the diecast community is globally is really what was on my radar this week. And I thought we would talk today about getting connected with other collectors around the world, how important that is. And we're going to show off some brands that us collectors here in the United States, if you haven't checked them out, you need to, because they are amazing diecast, and every country almost has diecast in it, and a lot of countries you never knew about are making diecast as well. So if you guys are okay with it, what I'd like to do maybe is go back to the very first episode of Diecast Breakdown, and we interviewed David Doonan. He's the owner of Diecast Extreme. And if you guys remember, he said how important it was to get connected with other collectors in your community. And he gave some examples on how to do that. And I thought we might revisit that, just so if you are curious about other brands and meeting other collectors from around the world, we want this episode to be a resource on how to do that. I've got a few ways. I'm going to ask my co-host how they do it, because I know they've met friends from around the world as well. Let's start with some easy ways to do it. If you're watching this podcast, chances are you're on YouTube, and you have the option, if you take it up, to meet people from every country in the world. You go on Diecast channels, look at the comments, find out where people are from. That's what I did. I met people. Why am I wearing this soccer jersey? I met somebody in England, struck up a relationship with him, traded some cars. It evolved into him sending me a custom-made soccer jersey from England that I would never have an opportunity to find where I live. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about real friendships. I know you guys on the show with me, Mark, Chuck, you guys know what I'm talking about.
So not quite as far as you, but I've got Mark and Willie, my YouTube friends that I met just from them coming to my channel, but they're up in Canada and on the other side, so not close at all. But yeah, they was exchanging emails and finding cars for them they see in my hunt videos or garage sale. I just picked up a bunch of cars for them from that garage sale that I went to that was nearby. And they love Stingrays, a 69 Stingray. That's his screen name.
Right.
And they both love old school muscle cars, 68, 69 Camaros and all that. My goal, especially David, has opened my eyes to all of the other different kinds of diecast in the world, and he's sent me some really cool stuff that I'll go over. I've got that readily available. But yeah, once you start seeing some more, you got the lensed headlights and lens taillights, and they're just, the detail on them is crazy, like carbon fiber roofs and stuff like that. So once you get into some of that stuff, it kind of opens your eyes to some really high quality diecast that's out there. And Hot Wheels are still amazing. We all still love Hot Wheels, but there's some other ones out there that you can pay $20 for. There's some Hot Wheels you can pay $200 for that you may not be happy with. So just keep that in mind when you're collecting things. You've got the cool dollar Hot Wheel cars, but you can also get some really, I'll just show you real quick, and you can get some really cool little, this is a Nismo R35 Miho that David sent me. Yeah, Nismo. We're not going to say anything other than that. I can use the J word. And yeah, once I got this car, I was like, dang it, David, I told him not to send it to me because I knew he was going to make me start buying these things. And I think I have yet to buy another one of these, but next time I do, it's going to be a handful of cars. And it got me I got some of those Datsun 510 Mini GTs, of course, but yeah. But once you get these things, try not to go crazy because they will break your wallet. You buy a handful of $20 cars at a time or $15 cars. It's going to hurt a lot more than 15 $1 cars. But yeah, I think David, with all of his friends across the world, is a big place. Why not meet people outside of your comfort zone and outside of your area? Because they'll open your eyes up to new diecast that you've never heard of that are really cool. Maybe stuff that you just never thought you'd be into, like Chinese Passats or
Jukes. Hey,
no Jukes. Yeah, Dodge Grand Caravan turbos, a little wood grain on the side.
There's a 15-year-old in England right now losing his mind over this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. There's more than you'd ever know when it comes to diecast. And I appreciate David's channel too, where he goes to dealerships and obscure places to find different kinds of diecast. And a lot of people don't even know that you can find diecast at those kind of places. So I encourage you guys to check his channel out and watch his videos on finding diecast at random places, basically.
It's an
like,
epic 5-part series.
It's epic,
Is it 5?
and we want more.
4-part.
I think it's
But
4-part. It's an
Four-
epic
that-
4-part series.
that was foreshadowing. Perhaps
Yeah.
I need to get another episode
Yeah.
in the can.
Yeah, there's at
We
least
always need one more.
left. Yeah, at least one more. Yeah, it's a work in progress, and looking to find some new people outside of the US to just send them cars. I don't even necessarily need anything in return. If they want to send me something back, cool. If they don't, that's fine too. But there's just to be able to send people cars that they like to open their horizon up. And if they want to send some cars back, that's cool. They can't, no big deal. So you could always purchase them on your own.
Now, I would suspect that Chuck, in his velvety voice, has lured many international collectors to his channel as well.
Yeah, I agree. I've run into a lot of great people around the world. Instagram is a great place to find amazing builds and amazing photography, but for me, the connections have really come with connecting with other YouTube builders, because Instagram is great for highlighting the cars, but what I like about YouTube, and one of the reasons why I went to YouTube, is you get a piece of the story of a car. And it's just like with big cars. Like the car is cool, but the story is better. And with the different creators that I've run across, like Juan over at Matchbox Resurrection, I love following his stories. He's got whole built out storylines on top of his personality. He builds storylines for his vehicles. Like they're like, this one is from a 1960s spy movie, and they're doing some kind of getaway, and they're meeting up at the rendezvous point, and he has all these great little worlds that he builds along with his cars, which is really cool. And then, of course, Danny's Diecast Disasters is a huge inspiration to me. I love his channel. I love his builds. And Marty over at Marty's Matchbox Makeovers, he's got his whole thing where he's got little interstitial things with Kevin the Koala and sabotaging his builds and little skits. And then you've got your more straightforward builders. Like Opa is a great builder. I really enjoy his channel because he shows off a lot of Tootsie Toys that I wouldn't have seen before. Chris over at Sideways King 75, he was a huge inspiration for me as well, as far as doing a lot of his scratch building. And the builders like Jakarta Diecast and Paris Garage and Tully Garage, like they build incredible stuff. And I love their videos. They're very high quality. But Chris does a very similar style build and walks you through it. And I really like that he shared that. I appreciate that it was so cool to hear that he is the inspiration behind Diecast Heroes becoming a thing. If you heard that episode, that was really cool. As far as international, I have sent a few of my builds internationally. Gary Tasker has one of my builds. He got it as a birthday present from his wife. That was a real honor to build for him. I don't usually take paid commissions. They're more of a special thing, but because Gary had been a supporter of my channel for a long time and his wife was like, no, I want this to be an actual present. So that means paying for it. And I was like, okay, well, if you insist. I think one of my other builds, the Eric Bana wrecked Falcon that I built from his movie Love the Beast. That one is with my friend and another patron, Evan Rule, out in Canada. And then I've been able to connect with some really interesting characters too. If you've probably seen him in a lot of the comment sections on YouTube videos, but Ripwreck Raceway. Robin is a gentleman in Canada who is a fascinating guy. He's got a lot of struggles in his life, and it's amazing to me that despite all those struggles, he's still out there creating and building. And I know he has had some difficulty integrating with some of the members of the community, and there's some drama there. I'm not going to get into any of that. But I will say that getting to know him a little bit was really special. And he has a few of my customs, and we did a trade. And this is incredibly special to me. He builds folk art diecasts, which is really interesting. So those listening, it's kind of your classic primitive style. But he takes diecast wheels, and these are actually one of my favorite kinds of wheels out there, which this is the old Blackwall era gold. These would have been on the Flying Custom diecasts in the 70s and 80s. And he built a 1/64 scale version of a 1964 Plymouth Valiant. And as far as I know, it is the only 1964 Plymouth Valiant in existence. And it's amazing because it's both got that primitive folk art style, but he got the proportions incredibly well for going just off of photographs. He painted in taillights on the back. He did foil to do the bumpers. He even recreated my whip antenna using a tiny piece of wire that he even coiled at the base to do the spring. And it is my most prized diecast vehicle, even though it is not technically diecast. But the fact that somebody that I would have never met otherwise, that I was just talking to, and he liked my story, liked the car, and wanted to build a version of my car. Like we've said before, the rare and collectible cars are one thing, but the custom one-offs are the priceless pieces because they're one of a kind, and there is often a story behind them because you don't just set out one day to build a custom. There's something that you want to get out when you do a custom, whether it's recreate a car for somebody else or recreate a car from your memory. You don't just go, okay, this, and this. Although that is a good idea for a custom. I should do that, like make some dice or something and just be like this era and this style and that. But that's another matter. So that's the kind of thing that really connects to me. I will say an important thing to remember in these troubled times is before you go and send somebody something, check and make sure that you can send them something. Mm-hmm. So I've got a good friend in New Zealand, Christian Stanland, who I've mentioned before, 1st and 64th Customs. Amazing builder. Really fascinating guy. I've talked to him on Zoom several times. Really honored to know him. And I have got a box that has been sitting for months that I want to send him, and I cannot because New Zealand is not receiving shipments from the U.S. at the moment. I don't know all the details of it. I just know that I went to send it to him and I can't. And make sure that you can send it to somebody. But yeah, I think if you can, it doesn't have to be customs, but any vehicles you have that are interesting that you think would be unique to your region. David was a huge inspiration to me to send stuff around. He, I've said before, was my first mail call, and it was a huge honor because I had never had anyone be like, hey, I like what you're doing. I want to send you some stuff. And another friend, Wade Hendricks, sent me a huge box of diecasts once that was, I can't thank him enough for. And that's the thing. It really doesn't matter where you are in the world. At its heart, the people in this community all really share the same thing. We love these cars. We love the stories behind them. We love what it means to us. That's the beauty of getting out there and being vulnerable. And yeah, you can get burned, and I've gotten burned. But you know, at the same time, the risk is far outweighed by the reward.
You make a great point, Chuck. So obviously we've all met people that are important to us and that we call friends, even though we've never met, may never meet. If you're a little iffy as far as that goes about putting yourself out there, something occurred to me as I was prepping for this episode, guys. I'm talking to the listeners now. If you haven't been on reddit.com, I have no bias for or against Reddit. Reddit is an online site, and they have different subcategories they call subreddits, and one of them is Hot Wheels. And there's a lot of people on Reddit, guys. And if you like the idea maybe of being anonymous and not having your identity out there, get on the Hot Wheels community on Reddit. There are 65,000 members of the Hot Wheels Reddit community. There are communities for diecast builders, for diecast traders, if you want to trade stuff. And so if you're a little iffy about getting on YouTube and putting your name out there, there's also anonymous ways to do it too. But like to y'all's point, the friendships are what's most important, but there are some really cool cars that we can't get here in the States. So I thought it'd be cool. And for you international viewers, you'll have to bear with us as we gush over some of the brands that you see in your stores every day. But I wanted to take an opportunity to introduce some of the American viewers to some of the brands that you guys have that we don't have and that are really cool. So if you guys will allow me, we're going to rip through some brands from around the world. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. We're just going to pop in, pop out. And the purpose of it is I really want it to whet your appetite and to seek out collectors in these countries. Let's start with probably the one that is most closely related or as close to what we have here in America as some of the brands that I have. And this is Majorette. This is a company out of France. We have some of them here in the United States. They are really cool about providing region specific, country specific. This is a Toyota Hiace that is specific to Australia because of the 13 cabs livery on it. This was a box that I received from a buddy in Australia because of YouTube comments. What about another company from France? You guys heard of Norev? They make extremely cool French stuff. Look at this, guys. This is called a Rennes Transport. Rennes Transport, maybe? It has an amazing racing history of being the fastest service vehicle ever part of a racing team. And this was done by Mercedes. This is a vehicle I believe you're only going to find by the company Norev. Again, another trade from, believe it or not, our special guest coming up later, Diecast Dude himself. Chuck has got some from this company, Schuco, out of Germany. Look at this Jaguar E-Type. How amazing is this? Mark, it's got your lensed headlamps.
Look at it, sir.
Look at it. Just look at it. Even lens tail lamps the size of a pinhead.
Something's better than nothing, David.
Something's better than nothing.
When it comes to...
Mark, I think, has got some Siku, another company from Germany.
Yeah.
He's going to show you.
This is from you, David.
I sent him that Porsche. Look how awesome this stuff is. Sikus are a little bit bigger than 164. Yeah. This is from a gentleman named Sparky in Cuxhaven, Germany. This incredible GT3 BMW racer. We'll keep going, guys. I've got a few more I just want to show you. Siku is a company from Germany. A lot of our younger listeners may not even be aware there used to be 2 Germanys. So if I rocked your world with that, I hope you can dig a little East German diecast. This is a company called Grell, who put out East German and Soviet era specific diecast, and I guarantee you are not going to find this anywhere else. Check out that card art. How cool is that?
Pretty cool.
All right, let's get through 2 more, and then we're going to talk about these and see what else the other guys have. Everybody knows about Tomica. Not everybody knows about Tomica Limited Vintage. That is their high-end, their ultra-premium line. Check out the box you get. This is a Ferrari. Comes really
David is holding up a beautiful, glossy
I can tell that box opens nicely. I can tell it's got the nice...
It's got that vacuum.
Yeah.
It's got like...
got a little
like
bit
an
of
iPhone box.
But look at the Ferrari, guys. It is absolutely flawless. You can see almost... I don't know if this is coming in focus. I hope it is. There's like a simulated texture on the seats. I'm not going to show it too much. The wheels are absolutely perfect. Like I said, I'm just trying to tease you.
Have a working horn
so that you go, so that you go and find it. But my all-time favorite, and again, another result of trading with fellow collectors that I've met online, Bianti, one of my favorite companies out of Australia, does Australia-specific stuff. This is an XB Falcon. We know it here in the States as a Pontiac GTO. And it is
Holden or
crazy good. No, I'm sorry. This is not the Pontiac GTO. This is a Ford. My bad. But it's just amazing diecast. And I would not have had this had I not started interacting with people on YouTube. Just a lot of you guys already do. And try to send up a few cars from America. Ask people if there is stuff here in the States that they can't get, that you can go get at CVS for $1. What do you guys have to show? I know you guys have some really cool cars to show too.
I did get my first 2 Schucos the other day. I have never heard of this brand before talking to David, and I'm holding up a very 80s Westfalia 2-tone wagon. This is actually not a Westfalia because it's not the camper, but this is the civilian one. It's got that classic cream top, and this one has the blue on it. I had avoided these because, and it's funny that I avoided them because honestly, I think this thing was maybe 10 or 11 bucks with shipping included on eBay. And the quality that you get is well beyond 10 times better than your local mainline diecast of any brand. But the lensed taillights, like it's funny to throw around and be all snooty about it. But these ones specifically are multicolored. They are one piece, but they are multicolored. They are amber, they are silver, and they are what appears to be 2 different shades of red, but it is one. They've just done some clever stuff in the backing. But to really draw out the detail on this on something that is incredibly tiny. That's the size of a sprinkle that you would have on a cookie. And then to have the lens headlights up front that are smaller than a pinhead. And I also got this beautiful one that has a clamshell style camper extension that opens up on it. And again, the detail is incredible. It's got clear skylight type things in the top of it. It's got the custom simulated fabric on it. And again, those beautiful lenses and simulated curtains on it. The other one has painted on the defroster metal, the defroster lines that would be on the rear of a later model. Again, really cool stuff. I'm looking to get into mini GTs as I look into them more, but I'm definitely a fan of Schuko now.
Since you said that, we've got a little mini GT Liberty Walk GTR. David sent me this, and I'll just do a quick little unboxing to show you how these things are packaged. They're packaged very nicely. So they come with the car in this little package here. Pulls up, pull the car out of there. It's in there very nicely. And you have beautiful, like, titanium exhaust, lens taillights, very cool wheels, a CCW type of wheel, forged wheel. You can see you've got the intercooler, the lensed headlights, and then you've got the coolest thing that I think is just the carbon fiber.
Yep, that's really cool. That's really well done.
Yeah. Yeah, this car it's just really detailed. The doors do not open on this one, but it's weighty. It is quite weighty. It's packaged nicely. You can put it back in there and pull it out every once in a while to look at it. I keep them in the boxes. Don't ask me why. I don't have a display for these yet. And then we've got Miho exclusives here that was also sent to me by David. And this one's pretty sweet too. It's called an Era car. And I believe we were talking about this, David. I think it's Hong Kong.
Right.
Is where these ones are out of.
Yep.
This one's a little different. The box kind of looks similar, but this one is a gloss type paint on this one. But this one's very stock. This is a Nismo GTR. And this thing, I believe the hood pops. It's tricky to get open, but I think the hood pops and the doors open on it too. Yeah, so doors open. The cool thing about it is it has the correct Recaro seats in there that say Nismo on them. And yeah, very cool car. Fairly similar to the other one, but different in its own way. Very cool.
Like I said, most of the ones that I showed you guys were sent to me just because of friendships around the world. And we're just saying, if you like cool cars, there's a lot more out there than what we have here. And find you some friends. Check in the comments of this video. I'm sure there are lots ready to introduce you to some really cool brands from their country. And if you're skeptical about trading with folks around the world, hit us up. Email us. We will tell you our good and bad experiences in trading with collectors around the world. One of the things about this show, guys, is it's for everybody. It's for the world. It's for every collector around the world. And so we felt just a little bit of a burden to tell you how to get started if you want to start looking around like we did.
You can reach all three of us at Diecast Breakdown at gmail.com. Actually, I wanted to read while I'm thinking about it. I got a very nice email from somebody that we all know over at Mike's Mods and Customs.
Yeah.
Mr. Mike of said Customs said, just wanted to thank you guys for doing the new podcast. Through your latest podcast, I finally pulled the trigger and purchased the Diecast Heroes magazine. And by that, I bought all 3 issues to get caught up. Can't wait to receive them. Thanks again. As well, I look forward to the DMN podcasts. Keep up the fantastic work, Mike.
That's awesome, man. You gotta love hearing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was really fantastic. Thank you, David. And that tees us up really well for this really cool interview. It was a bit of a technical nightmare to get started, but we are so glad that he was patient with us and gave us some time to get things rolling as we are figuring this out as we go.
Guys, I am so pleased that you are with us today, because not only do we have one of the biggest YouTube channels based around diecast in the world, but he's really a cool guy. Mr. Diecast Dude sat down with us and we talked about a lot of stuff. You're going to want to stick around and check it out.
We will be right back with that after this word from today's sponsors.
Don't touch that dial. Diecast Breakdown will be right back after these messages.
This episode of Diecast Breakdown is brought to you by you. That's right. We are 100% viewer and listener supported, and we are so grateful for those of you who have already supported the podcast and the shows we're planning to add to the Diecast Media Network family. You can find out more about how to support this project by visiting diecastmedianetwork.com or email us about sponsoring an episode at diecastbreakdown@gmail.com. The best way you can support what we're doing right now, though, is to subscribe and share these episodes with your family, friends, and Facebook groups. Anyone you think would enjoy what we're doing. Any extra attention we can get early on will go a huge way in helping this project grow. Thank you so much for sharing this journey with us.
Diecast Breakdown would like to thank Diecast Heroes Magazine for supporting this program. Diecast Heroes Magazine is the premier digital and print resource just for diecast customizers. Visit diecastheroes.com and see what the best customizers in the world are up to.
Got an idea for our show? Know someone that would make a great guest? Want to tell Mark how handsome he is? We'd love to hear from you. Email us your ideas at diecastbreakdown@gmail.com.
And now, the thrilling conclusion of this week's episode of Diecast Breakdown.
So today, it is a special day because the biggest European diecast YouTuber out there, you guys love his videos. He takes us on all the European peg hunts. He shows us all the cool brands. Most of you guys already know this titan of the diecast community. I hope you guys are ready to meet and get to know Diecast Dude. He's here with us, and we're going to ask him our questions that we like to ask everybody. So, Dude, if you are ready, I'm going to put you in the hot seat, brother.
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this.
All right. So I tend to ask when I get to sit down with you guys, I tend to ask the same questions because I love hearing the background for a lot of these collectors worldwide. So think back, the little Diecast Dude walking around his house. What is the first car you remember as a little guy? What kind of got you into little diecast cars?
That's a long time ago, but as far as I remember, I was always liking those small metal cars, and I have a lot of them. Still have a couple, not all. But the first car I remembering was a Matchbox, guess it was a Firebird, a black car with a bird on the hood, and that was definitely my favorite car in combination with a Ferrari from those were my two favorite cars.
So
and of course, military diecast. Back then, it was also my favorite, and it still is.
I know that's true. So, man, it sounds like you had the T-Bird, the black one with the gold eagle on the hood or phoenix on the hood.
Yep, that's right.
That's awesome. Can't beat that. Smokey and the Bandit. I hear you. All right. So, when you were starting out collecting, tell me, I guess let's start with this. How long have you been collecting, buying your own cars and adding to your collection? How long has that been?
That is not super long because at a certain age, you think you're too old for that small metal cars. And then you stop playing with them and you think, no, that's not good anymore. I have to think about other things like girls and drinking beer and all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
But every time I walked into a toy store, I was like, whoa, these little cars are still, I still like them. I still think it's cool to look at them and all the different cars. But I was not paying attention to that feeling. And then I was on a holiday in Poland and I was in the supermarket and I was like, hey, they have Hot Wheels over here. So I bought a couple of Hot Wheels. It was a James Bond car. I think it was the Aston Martin and a white Bentley Continental. Still have them. They're still in the package, by the way. And then later, I was watching on AliExpress. I don't know if you're familiar with that, AliExpress. If
Oh,
that's
we
also-
definitely are.
Okay. So I was scrolling on AliExpress and then I saw the GMC Vendura from the A-Team from Greenlight in a 1/64 scale. And I was
Yep.
like, whoa, this thing is looking good. So I've ordered it, way overpriced, of course. And when I got it in the mail, I was hooked. I thought,
Right.
I have to know more about this brand. I have to know about movie cars. And then I found out that in the Netherlands, we have a lot of stores that is selling diecast cars. So I've ordered some more and then it all started. So I think that's about
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Tell me this. The world has changed since then a lot for the worse with this pandemic mess. How does that change how you look for cars now as opposed to back then?
Back then, it was a lot easier because of the pandemic. The stores were closed for a very long time, so they didn't restock. And now it is very difficult to find new cars, especially Hot Wheels mainlines, Matchbox, etc. So in that way, it's become very difficult.
Yeah.
And most of the stores, when they restock, they get just one box of Hot Wheels. Can you imagine that? I see all the pack hunt videos from the States, and they have these giant dump bins and Hot Wheels all over the place. And I'm like, whoa. And here in the Netherlands or in Belgium, they get one, maybe two boxes, and that's it. So you have to be first, you have to be quick, and you have to be there to get the ones that you want. And that is not easy, I can tell you. But social media is helping.
Yep.
Because a lot of collectors let each other know where to find what. And that's a very cool thing. That's very helpful.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
one of the best parts about our community is we're all collectors and we all, for the most part, we try and help each other out.
Yes, that is very important. And that's also an important message that I want to say to all the collectors. Please help each other to know so they know where to find what. That is also a reason I started my channel, to help other collectors, to let them know where they can find a certain amount of diecast.
Yeah. And if you're watching this podcast, dude, is speaking the truth. If you go on his page and go to the about section, he has it right there in his mission for his channel is for other collectors to help each other and to share the information.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you practicing what you preach, brother. I got a few other questions here though that I want to know personally. If you could have any diecast car that you wanted in the world, if you had a magic wand that you could make your own holy grail diecast car, what would that be?
Okay, I think it's not going to be a car.
Whoa. Breaking news.
Breaking news. Yeah, Diecast Dude loves all the diecast, and that's not only cars, that is also tractors, tanks, planes, even an aircraft carrier that I got. And if I had a magic wand, there are two things that I want. One is a Haunebu 2. That's a German Nazi flying saucer.
What?
And I hope you never heard about that.
Not yet. I'm about to learn about it.
I've heard
Okay.
about it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
pretty wild. It's about the Nazi Germans that they develop a flying saucer, anti-gravity. And Revell did a plastic model kit about it, and also some other brands.
That's how I know
So,
about it. Is the
yes,
Rebel?
there is a diecast or a race-in version ready out of the box from X model or something like that.
IXO maybe?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the brand name was, but there is never a brand that make a proper diecast Haunebu 2 in a 1/72 scale or another a different scale, but not a good diecast version of it. And it would be cool if it comes in a diorama with a German car and a couple of German figures. That would be totally awesome.
Definitely.
And the other one that I'm still waiting off is, and I hope Greenlight will do it, an Airwolf diorama. So Airwolf in a 1/64 scale and the Santini Jeep Wrangler next to it. That would be perfect.
Now you're talking Chuck's language now.
Yeah,
when you get into
I do the
80s.
Hollywood collector cars. So
Yes.
yeah, when you mentioned the Greenlight 18 Bandura, that's one of my favorites. I have the weathered version, the one that's dirty and has the bullet holes
Yeah.
on the side. I've got it in that. I've got it in Hot Wheels. I got Hot Wheels version. I got the I think it's Ertl that I have the other version of. That I would love to see more aircraft in general in 1/64 because there's only a few and they're all plastic kits. They're not die cast.
Oh.
I did find one Apache helicopter that was die cast, and it looks good on top, but on the bottom it's got wheels and it's a pullback. But it is like I measured it out. It is actually 1/64 scale size for the Apache helicopter.
I know one of the owners of Greenlight, and I talked to him, but he said, "Yeah, I know, but I can't do anything about it. I'm not in that part of Greenlight, so." But I'm not giving up my mission yet.
And that's a little tease for what
Yeah.
we're going to talk about later with who he knows at Greenlight. Did you get a chance to think about your top 5 castings?
Yes.
All right. Let's
I can't
hear 'em.
answer that question. I can't answer that question. That is too difficult for me. I think, no, that's too difficult. I've thought about it for a long time. And yeah, I've said I love all my diecast.
Yeah.
The cheap diecast, the premiums. I can't explain it. When I see a casting, it gives me a happy feeling inside. I don't know what it is. Maybe it brings me back to my childhood or something, and that was a very good time. I don't
Yeah.
know, but if you ask me, tell me your 5 favorite pieces. That is so difficult.
Mhm.
It's
How
like
many-
when your house is on fire. What would you take? What diecast car or what diecast piece would you take?
Right.
I think it is, yeah, it's going to be a construction machine or a tank or a plane from Century Wings. I have this beautiful SR-71 Blackbird. It's going to be something like that. And a couple of cars in my pocket or something.
No, fair enough. Hey,
Mhm.
listen, that is one of the reasons that everybody loves your channel, man. You give equal love to everything. 1/43rd scale, bigger scale, cars, planes, tractors,
Yes.
dioramas, figures. Like we see it all on your channel, and it's amazing. So thank you for doing that.
How many pieces, if you had to guess, how many pieces do you think you have in your collection right now?
I think more than 1,000 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more than 1,000. I never count my whole collection, but it's definitely more than 1,000, and it's growing rapidly. Now I have a YouTube channel that is growing.
Yep.
That's crazy. In the beginning, it was like maybe a couple of cars a month, but now it is crazy. I've ordered a lot. I did a lot of pre-orders, and by the way, I have everything. I pay everything myself. Maybe a lot of people are thinking that I get sponsored by company. Forget it.
Right.
Forget it. I have to pay everything myself. So it's expensive hobby, and yes, YouTube is helping a little bit, but no, there's going
No.
more money out than is coming in.
Yeah, we do it for the love. We do it for
Yes.
it's all about the cars
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
the vehicles.
Yes.
So I'm curious because we're going to have a lot of viewers watching this in the United States. So can you just tell American listeners what are some of the differences when you we don't get to travel from country to do peg hunts or shop. Is that the reality for a lot of European collectors to go from country to country?
No, definitely not, because
Okay.
I'm living on the border. I'm living on the border of Belgium. I'm living in the Netherlands, but very close to the border of Belgium. And Belgium is not a super big country, so I have to drive an hour to get in France. So everything is pretty close to my house. And Germany, 3 hours driving. But I know for Americans, that's nothing. That's
Yeah.
nothing. So I'm pretty lucky being in a good part of the Netherlands. So I can go to the Netherlands, I can go to Belgium, I can go to France, I can go to Germany.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
that's perfect for diecast hunting. And of course, 3 hours driving. It is a lot of time, but I'm going most of the time. I go to one city, and I know exactly where to go. So I have
Right.
a strict planning of what to do. And then afterwards, I'm going back, and I'm tired, but I have a lot of good videos for my YouTube channel, and bags filled with diecast, of course.
Absolutely. And listen, it's important to buy it in person in the stores there, because it's expensive to order things that are imported from overseas, right? There's a lot of tariffs and taxes that we don't pay here in America when we import stuff from overseas.
If you order stuff from America, yeah, you have to pay taxes. That's true. And now you also have to pay taxes if you order from AliExpress. That
Yeah.
wasn't that wasn't, I think, about a year ago. You didn't have to pay any taxes for AliExpress.
Mhm.
Or not all the time. Sometimes you have to pay taxes if you bought something that was more expensive or more expensive than $22.
Yep.
But not all the packages were checked. So sometimes you were lucky, but now you have to pay for every package, unfortunately. So it's become a lot more expensive. And now we also have to do with inflation. Everything is very expensive now.
Yeah.
So
It is what it is.
Yeah, Amazon has, I think, really within the last 2 years, Amazon has really started charging taxes on purchases here now. All the domestic stuff and international stuff has taxes on it. But you're right; it's the cost of the hobby. You got to pay to play.
mhm.
Yeah. If you want
So-
something, yeah, it costs you money.
You mentioned a little while ago that you watch these videos in the US and you see
Yes.
the difference in the amount of inventory. Just tell me some other differences you might see. And let me put it this way. In the US, some stores may only have Hot Wheels or Matchbox, but a lot of times that's different in the markets in Europe, right?
In the supermarkets in the Netherlands, you don't have toys at all. You have to go to a toy store or
Mhm.
to a hobby shop or something like that. The difference I see with the United States is that you guys don't have any European brands, or almost nothing.
Mhm.
No Shugo, no Noref, all those kind of brands are not available over there, or only on eBay for a lot of
Mhm.
money. So that is the difference. But I think a lot of Americans think that in every store here in Holland you can find European diecast brands, but that is not true. You have to go to special stores to find those models. Yes, it's easier to get here in Europe, but you still have to search and know where to find it.
Only if you know where to look. I got you. And
Yeah,
that's why it's important to be out there looking.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have, I know I'm butchering it here, but we do have majorettes now. That's how we say it over
Yep.
here. I can't say it as eloquently as you did, but yeah, they're just starting to, and even then they're only at a few places. Like there's a few hobby shops that will carry them. And
Yes.
even then they might only have a couple of Volkswagens or maybe a G-Wagon or something there. I think in my searches, I've come across maybe 15 or 20 different majorettes that I've seen regular.
Majorette is working hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Majorette is working hard on selling stuff in the United States.
Mhm.
I think they bought Jada.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
So-
some of it's showing up under the Jada name too. It depends
Yes.
on, and it's the same thing. It's just like it just says Jada at the bottom. Sometimes it says both. It'll say Majorette and Jada on the bottom of the car. Yeah, because Jada was very popular over here, especially as a lowrider thing. The lowrider diecasts that they had in the 90s and 2000s were very popular because they had 1/24 scale. I think they had some 1/18 scale as well, but they're really big with like Dub City crowd and the tuner crowd and that sort of the lowrider culture.
Let me hit on something because I know this is like one of the favorite things I've ever seen in your videos. We talked about knowing where to look. And one of the places that you know where to look is a place called Tom's. So tell the American audience or anybody that doesn't know about this diecast heaven, what this store is, what it's all about, and what they could expect to see if they looked at it on one of your videos.
You mean the diecast gold mine from Europe?
The very
diecast-
one,
Diecast Mecca.
Mecca.
As a diecast collector, you have to go there once in your life.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's a very special store, or it's more like a warehouse It is so gigantic. When I first heard about Tom's, I was a little suspicious. I thought, no, this is not true. It cannot be. So I make a phone call and somebody picked up the phone and said, "Hey, are you selling diecast?" "Yes." "And do you have a store?" "Yeah, you can come by and visit us." "Okay, okay." So I said, "I have a YouTube channel and it's okay if I can come to your place to make a video?" "No problem." So I came there for the first time and I was like, whoa. So you open the door and then you see a large stair and you go up the stair and then you come in a huge hall with
Mhm.
filled with diecast cars and any scale, any brand, it's there. That is just crazy. Yeah, what can you
It's
say?
massive.
Then you go, then yeah, it's massive. And the first thing are the 118 scale cars, the 143 cars, 124 cars. You see a lot of model kits because they also sell plastic model kits. And
Mhm.
then you go around the corner, a giant 164 diecast wall. It's just amazing. I've never seen a diecast wall that big anywhere else. And it is filled with green lights, Shugo, it's Johnny Lightning, Tarmac, all the premium diecast brands that are there on that wall. It's just crazy. And then the last time I was there, I think it's a week ago. I make a lot of videos. I started at 11 o'clock and I leave the store at 5 o'clock when the
Yep.
store was closing.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Non-stop, I was making videos. And then in one of the videos, I'm saying from when you walk into a store and you hope to find a chase piece, and then you walk in this store and boxes filled with chase pieces.
Yep.
That's just crazy.
Green
You know?
machines as far
Green
as the
machine.
eye can see.
Yeah, that's just crazy. That's amazing.
And
They've
listen,
got all the green light castings.
we need to clarify though, we're not talking about a wall like in your house that you can walk past in 2 seconds. When I watched Diecast Dude's latest video about the wall, and he went through the whole length of the wall, we're talking about a 45-minute video, and he was going through them quick. This is a big wall. This store is unlike any place I think I've seen here in the USA.
Yeah, I would say so too. I can't think of anything that's that big. Usually, if there's a diecast store, it like David just did one. It was about the size of a large service station, like a gas station or something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, there's one thing I can think of that's similar to what I saw on your video. And there's a model railroad store in Boston that I went to that was enormous. It was larger than, it was borderline like an IKEA sized store, like a very large multi-story, huge railroad layouts, literally anything you could think of, any scale, any new antique stuff, and it was incredible. But I've never seen anything that big here for diecast, and that's curious for me. And I have asked people like Woodland Scenics that does a lot of model railroad stuff. I've been like, they have dozens of building kits in HO scale, and they have all this diorama supplies and stuff. And they're like, I was like, have you ever thought of doing 164? Because I would think that would do well as far as like people wanting to create displays for their cars and stuff. And they were like, no, we're not interested in the diecast market. So it's interesting that, and I think that's just a difference in culture. I think in the US, people tended to have, especially in past decades, it's not so much true now because no one can afford them, but used to have much larger houses where you could have a large model railroad layout. And I think it's starting to shift more towards the diecasts over here because they're so small. And it's something that it's like, I had to downsize because I used to collect 124 scale plastic models. And I realized there's not going to be enough room in my house if I build all these. So
right.
I was like, oh, wait, these little guys are nice. So I think that's just an interesting thing, a culture difference that's changing around here. Also, model railroads are a lot of work and they're a pain to keep running.
And
I've
expensive.
tried. And they're very expensive. Yeah, very expensive.
But most of the hobby stores here have model railroad trains and diecast. It's most of the time it goes together here in Europe.
They should. They're a natural. We should be two communities that can definitely coexist very peacefully. So The last thing I wanted to ask, Mr. Diecast Dude, can you tell the audience who's never been to a NAMAC what that is? Because that sounds really cool to go to.
Wow, NAMEC is crazy. It's also just like Tom's. When the first time I was there, I couldn't believe my eyes. It's the biggest diecast collectors event in the world until proven the opposite.
We'll take your word for it.
Yes. But collectors from all over Europe come to that event to sell diecast or to buy diecast. And it's most of the time it's 2 or 3 halls, and it's literally filled with sellers.
Yep.
You can see it on my video. It's unbelievable. But unfortunately, the last NAMAC was canceled. That was also the reason I went to. I hope next year there will be another NAMAC. We will see.
I bet it'll be back. But in the meantime, until we have a NAMAC to go to, and we want to check out videos on Diecast Dude's channel, how do we find your channel, and how do we follow you on different media?
I have a YouTube channel, and it's very easy. If you type in Diecast Dude, you will find my channel. It's a red with black logo. And I also have Instagram, and then you can find me as Diecast Dude YouTube. So those are the 2 social media platforms that I'm using. Facebook, I thought about it, but that's going to be too much. I have a family. It is still a hobby for me, and it has to be fun to do. And when it's getting too busy, I don't know. I'll keep it just by Instagram and YouTube. No Facebook. Just those 2 social media platforms are good for me.
You talked about how you wanted to create this channel as a community, as a way to show off the different kind of cars that are out there. And how long have you been doing the channel now?
I think I'm having my channel now for 3 years. And in the beginning, it started a little bit as a joke. So I was watching, just like you, other YouTube channels to see diecast. And I thought, let's try that. Why not? If I'm buying these cars, why not doing something with it? So I started my YouTube channel. And then I went to a store here in the Netherlands, close to my house, a local store, a good toy store. And I thought, let's make a video and we will see what happens, because I thought America has a lot of those stores and even better. But then the reactions were so overwhelming. Whoa, what is that store? We don't have that. And I thought, okay, this is just a regular toy store. We have very special stores with a lot of diecast. And then it all started. And now I've been doing this for 3 years.
That's amazing.
Oh, and by the way, he just hit 10 million views on his channel. Congratulations, dude.
10 millions? Is that, whoa.
Yeah, if you go to your about section, it says 10,500,000.
Yeah.
Not bad. A lot of people tell me, oh, I could never do a YouTube video, or I could never do a YouTube channel. I don't have the gear. But you keep yours pretty, like, yours is pretty straightforward. Like, you use pretty much a phone, right?
Yeah, I can tell you, I just bought a new smartphone. I'm doing everything with my phone. My phone is my office. My phone is my everything.
Mm-hmm.
And first I had a OnePlus, and I was really happy with that. I still have it, and I'm still using it. And now I'm having a Samsung S21 Ultra, because I've heard it had the best camera for smartphones on the market. And it's really good, and it has more storage. So that's important for me. If I'm working with, a camera, and then I have to put it on my computer and then uploading to my YouTube channel, that's too much work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're having a busy life and you have to do a lot of other things, then it's way easier to do everything with your smartphone.
And that's the thing that I think is really cool. The great thing about this hobby and the different ways that people do it, it really doesn't take a lot of fancy gear. People think it takes a lot of fancy gear, and you can do it just with a smartphone.
I also do barely no editing. One reason I'm not good at it, but also I like to do it, keep it raw. So the viewer gets the feeling he's actually in the store. I think that is very important, or that he is on the event, and that you hear all the people whispering, and you hear the package.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Yeah, and it's cool too because the viewer their eye might catch something that you're not looking at, or that might be in the corner of the video screen, and
Yes.
if you're breezing past it too fast, they miss it. And do you ever get questions from people when you're in the stores, or concern from people when they see you shooting video, or do you talk to them?
My other hobby is bodybuilding, and I'm almost 2 meters high. If people are seeing me filming toys, I've never ever had somebody that comes to me and say, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you crazy or what?" Never, ever. To be honest, I'm always asking permission. It's very important to ask permission, especially in those hobby stores. Yeah, that's very. But they, the most of them know me by now, and sometimes they call me from, "Hey, we've got new stuff. Come over here so you can make a video." So yes.
Yeah. I think that's something important too. A lot of the people that I talk to, like making that introduction and knowing the shop owners, talking to them, and that's really how you build that community, and that your collection will benefit because you put yourself out there and say hello and meet other people and are kind to them and talk to them about what they're interested in.
That is very important.
So what would you say, you've got, like David mentioned, like one of the most successful diecast channels out there. So what do you think is the secret to your success? Is there some videos that you think really resonate with people more than others?
I am the only person in, first of all, I don't think myself that because of the editing and my bad English, but I'm the only one in Europe that is doing this. I'm the only one that is going to a store or to a hobby store and is making videos. Nobody else is doing it. That's my luck, I think.
It's true. I've looked.
I guess that's why we're doing this podcast, is because nobody else is doing it.
Nobody else is doing it.
Yeah. We're taking the Diecast Dude model and taking it to podcasts.
Okay, awesome.
I don't understand why I'm the only one doing it. I don't understand. Maybe I'm crazy enough. I'm a 40-year-old guy filming little toy cars in a store. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you have to be crazy to do it.
That's cool.
I
also just turned 40.
I'll tell you what, guys. I think a lot of collectors are just sheepish, and you just got to own it. You got to enjoy your passion. You got to let other people know it's okay. Yeah, we collect little cars. It's a lot better than a lot of other things that we could collect that would be more expensive and trouble.
A man needs a hobby. I always say
has to have a hobby.
Are there any YouTube creators that you enjoy or follow that you would like to recommend to other people to watch besides yourself?
Most definitely. I always watching other channels. First of all, you have to know what is on the market, new diecast, etc. And it's cool to see what they are showing and what they are telling. And I can learn from them. And I hope they learn from me. The channels I'm watching, of course, my neighbor, Chasing Diecast Cars, he's living in Belgium, so we have a lot of contact. And if he's going to Germany, he tells me what he has found or what store has new diecast. So that is very handy. Another channel, Building the Ultimate Matchbox Collection. And I think
Tyrone.
he also... Tyrone. Yep. He has an awesome channel. Champion, DJK. I like to watch his channel also. Mini Car TV, he's a dude from South Korea, also has a very nice channel, and I like his a lot. He has a lot of Asian brands, but he also likes Hot Wheels, premium brands, etc. Honest Diecast is not so long, but he does it very nice. I like his channel a lot.
Yeah, Derek's a good guy, and he's good friends with Mark, our other host, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. But so we're gonna have Derek on the show too. I want to get Champion JDK on because he's fascinating to me, because he's one of the few people that's actually gotten like an Easter egg on a car. Like they put a Johnny Lightning van, that's got a bumper sticker.
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, I want to buy that van, but at Tom's I could only buy the whole set, so it was not possible for me to only buy the van.
Yeah, that's an expensive set.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a couple of more channels I'm watching. That's Gary's Diecast. I think he has a very nice YouTube channel too, and he's a very good guy. Hot Customs.
I like Hot Customs.
Yes, and Facts Dad from
Mhm.
Australia is also one of my favorite channels.
You got the
Yeah,
whole
but-
world covered.
Something very important that I've heard today, because I get permission to go to the biggest toy fair in the world, and
Oh.
that is Spielwarenmesse in Nuremberg.
Mhm.
And Nuremberg is famous because of the racetrack, and they have the biggest toy fair in the world over there, and all the brands are coming to there to show their newest stuff for 2022.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
When
that
when will
is-
this happen?
I still can't believe it. In February 2022, and it's from 2 till 6 February, and I get permission to go there. I get a press card because I'm an influencer. I can't
That's
believe
awesome.
it myself. I am so happy because going there and seeing all the new stuff that is coming in 2022, that's crazy.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna have you back on and
Yeah.
have you give us a field report of how of what's out there, because that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course I'm going to do that Diecast Dude style, and which means I'm going to film as much as possible.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we will
Dude.
absolutely make sure to send people your way to watch that video. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Well-
thank you guys too for having me on the show.
Yeah, listen, it's our pleasure. And guys, if you haven't checked out Diecast Dude, I know you've heard of him. Everybody's heard of him. But if you haven't checked out his channel yet, go check it out. We'll put all that information at the bottom here. It's just really a pleasure, man. Thanks for staying up late for us. And we really look forward to seeing what your channel has in store for 2022.
I have a lot of things coming. Yes, absolutely.
All right. We'll
Worry
leave it at
about
that.
that.
We'll
I'm
leave it
not
at that,
done.
guys. He's going to tease you.
Yeah.
You'll have to stick around and
Have to
see.
go check out his channel to find out.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend.
All right.
Well, you take care. We will talk again soon. We definitely want to have you back on the show.
See you later, guys.
All right,
Thank you
take
for
care.
having
See you,
me on the
man.
show.
Mhm.
Have a
Good
great
talking
day.
to you.
Really cool. It was awesome to get to know him. He's a channel that I was aware of and had seen a few of his videos, but to actually talk to the face behind all of the cell phone footage that we see in these unbelievable European diecast stores was really cool. Thank you so much, David, for setting that up.
My pleasure, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did.
Well, thank you for sticking around with us through this episode. It's a pleasure, as always, to be joined by you. I am really excited. We've got some really cool guests coming up. We've got Fireball Tim Lawrence coming, which is incredible. He's an epic designer, dreamer. If you have watched TV or films at all in the last 30 years, you have seen his work. He is an incredible dude and has a lot of great stories. That's going to be a really epic one. We've got some cool customizers, cool builders. We are booking this week Mr. Jakarta Diecast, Yogi himself. And we are so excited for that. So be sure to punch that like button, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff so you can see it as it comes. Again, if you want to get more stuff, including extended versions of this show with no commercial interruptions, you can join us over at our Patreon page, where you can find out different ways that you can support us and help us continue to grow this show, attract new guests, and do some fun events. We're even going to have some giveaways coming up here. So, as always, we are so grateful to have you come along. Thank you for subscribing, rating the show, all that good stuff. And we will see you on the next one. So, take care.